everyone. I'm Sarju Irengbam. I'm from India, and currently I'm studying Master of Arts in Asia Pacific Studies in Thammasat University, Thailand. And today I'll be presenting my thesis for my master's degree, and it's entitled "Hedging as a Foreign Policy Tool in India's Ag Policy." So this is the brief abstract of my thesis, and particularly I will be talking about the changing global power dynamics and the geopolitical concerns in the Indo-Pacific region. And also I will link with the Ag policy of India and the changes during Narendra Modi during his first term and second term. This is a brief background about why, and also the motivation why I choose this thesis. So given geostrategic location and political and economic strength, India has become a very important player in the ace of great power competition in the Indo-Pacific region, particularly with the heightened tension between the US and China, and also the China's factor and India sharing more than 3,000 line of control between being its neighbor has drive India to share a very responsible role in the Indo-Pacific region, and also India needs to consider a good strategic decision that would maintain a peaceful relation with both parties, also at the same time increasing its capabilities and political security in the region. So in this case, India has seemed to adopt a multifaceted policy while addressing its Ag policy in the Indo-Pacific region. And India has taken comfort in hedging by bets, that is, it doesn't engage with any possible powers in the region without tying knots, that is, it maintains its strategic autonomy. So in this context, I define hedging as an alternate foreign policy tool with both balancing and bandwagoning strategy. So these are the three research questions from my thesis. The first one is, how does the Ag policy fit into the hedging strategy? And the second is, how the rise of China in the Indo-Pacific region is a concern to India's hedging policy. And what are the developments and limitations of the Ag policy during the second term of Narendra Modi, that's from 2019 to 2023. So for the theoretical framework, I used hedging theory. This theory is previously derived from economic terms. That is, it is an economic theory whereby the actors invest in diverse policies to ensure unexpected failures. So it is like a state's third policy choice under balancing bandwagoning spectrum. When we talk about balancing, it's like maintaining the rise of a big power in the region by making alliance with other smaller powers in the region. And when we talk about bandwagoning, it is like making links with the threat itself. In this hedging theory, I define it as a tool in foreign policy which employs both balancing and bandwagoning and not taking sides with any of the great powers. And to operationalize this hedging, first I look at the military and economic capabilities and policies and foreign policies, and after that I look at the diplomatic factors and capabilities of a country. I use a qualitative method of data collection, and the first one being primary source. I interview one being Professor Joy Prakash Mondal, and another I interview a senior analyst. And the secondary sources are particularly from books, research papers, and also from the government reports from the Ministry of External Affairs. And to implement the Ag policy in the region, I divide it into three phases. The first phase, that is building bridges from the beginning of 1992 to 2022. In this phase, I analyze the economic and cultural connectivity and also the deepening of ties as India began from 1992 dialogue partner of ASEAN to 2002 summit level partner. And in the phase two, strategic expansion, that is 2003 to 2013. We can see expanded, that is the India's policy expanded to include political, security, cultural connectivity, and economic aspects too. And in the third phase, that is deepening of ties, it is very important phase to India because in this phase the Act East policy was born. That is, it changes from Look East policy to Act East policy, and also the historic ASEAN outlook for Indo-Pacific was published together with ASEAN in response to India's Indo-Pacific concept, and also there is heightened importance of Quad in the region due to China's rise in the region. And these are some of the findings that I got. I observed two patterns of hedging while implementing Act East policy. The first one is conventional hedging, in which India employs balancing strategy by military balancing China, that is by making partners and alliance with US, Japan, Australia, that is, which is popularly known as Quad, and also bilateral military exercises, and also the Sagar Initiative of 2018. And the another one being bandwagoning with China, that is, even despite border clashes and confrontations that could have ended the relation between India and China, India continued to maintain its economic relations and ties with China, and China is now India's second largest trading partner. And also I observe the soft hedging, in which India tries to diplomatically balance China by hedging with smaller Asian countries and other Indo-Pacific countries in the region, and also by deepening ties with the core of Asian centrality and adopting multifaceted policies rather than aligning to a single party. And to understand why is India using this hedging technique to reach out to Indo-Pacific, three factors can be identified. That is geopolitical and strategic balancing, the China factor. In order to counter the rising China factor, India adopt hedging strategy, and also to ensure regional stability, that is to form a rule-based, free and open Indo-Pacific region, and also to pursue its national interests while safeguarding its strategic autonomy. And while India implements its hedging strategy, it faces challenges due to geopolitical and economic power asymmetry, particularly with China, and also regional security challenges like the importance of Quad being becoming more important with India's Asian centrality, and also domestic constraints like India being named an electoral autocratic country in these years has not being a good image for India, and some domestic constraints are also being a challenge to India's hedging strategy. And these are some conclusions and recommendations to address the hedging crucial geopolitical dynamics. India uses this hedging approach, and it is motivated by India's desire to preserve its strategic autonomy, protect its national interests, negotiate the region's complicated geopolitical landscape, and also at the same time to receive or achieve its Indo-Pacific goals. So as a recommendation, the primary concern for India now is not the difficulty to choose side, whether to join US ally or China ally or Asian ally, but rather with its economic and developmental challenges. India needs to find other approaches to integrate itself into the powerful Asian economy, and also leveraging its soft power diplomacy will be a wise option for India to practice effective hedging. So far, hedging without tying knots, that is without making alliance or without making partnership with any other big power in the region, will be best suited for India to exercise its policy in the Indo-Pacific region. So that is for my presentation. Thank you.